All right, let's face it, we are doing too much for our kids. We might not be spoiling them with material things, but we are definitely spoon feeding them. We're helping them to a fault. And these great intentions are killing critical thinking, and they are killing problem solving. They're making our children helpless without us. They're making them feel helpless without us. So it's time to make a drastic change. Hi, I'm Katie Anderson, teacher, gifted endorsement teacher, gifted curriculum writer, and mom. You're already a pro at parenting, so stay tuned in this video and let me help you become a pro at teaching. So our kids are scared. They're scared to try. They're full of fear that whatever they do isn't going to be right, or they're frozen when they're faced with a challenge that they don't know how to tackle. Why? Well, because every time they hit a wall, every time they hit a challenge, we come running to help them, we come running to rescue, or we just remind them that all they have to do is Google it, and there they go. So what's happening is they've lost the ability to think critically. They're losing the ability to problem solve. We're seeing it at home. We're seeing it in schools. It seems to be the #1 complaint I hear people talking about all the time. But it's not all doomsday here. I have some tried and true strategies from the classroom that can help us either prevent this from happening or try to reverse these trends. If there are any strategies in this video that you like, I hope you'll like and subscribe this video, click the little bell so that you can get notifications on videos that I make in the future. All right, so what are some of these strategies? How do we fix this problem? The first one is to make sure that we tell them they have to try first before they ask us for help. Try it first before they Google it. Show some of that tenacity and remind them it's okay that you didn't know it right offhand. Think about it some, come up with some strategies. That healthy struggle is really wonderful in the learning process. It's what we need to be doing. So our first step is just to ask if they've tried it, all on their own, before they've gone asking for help. My second strategy is answer their questions with more questions. So when students will come to me and say, I don't even know where to begin, how do I start, what do? I start with, well, first, what's being asked of you? And I make sure they really understand what it is they're trying to do. Whether it's a math problem, what are they trying to solve? If it's some other sort of a project, well, what's being asked of you? What are you supposed to be thinking of? And then when I know that they have that clarity, if they're still confused, I ask them another question. Another good follow-up question could be, well, what do you know? What do you know that could help you solve this problem? Something from another problem that you can transfer over, or something that the problem or the project gives you. What do you know that you feel confident about? And then I encourage them to jot that down. Jot down some notes about, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be figuring out, and this is what I already know about it. And if that doesn't help, then I say, well, what are some strategies that you could use to tackle it? How could you go about it? And don't stop with just one. Think of multiple strategies for solving it, because sometimes the first one doesn't work, and that's okay. You'll come back and go to the drawing board. How can you start the tackling the problem? So I answer their question to me rather than giving them the step-by-step of how to solve it. I answer their question with more questions. My third tip is to start challenging them from a very early age. What we find is kids who everything comes super fast and easy to them, they can do all the math problems in their head, or they know all the answers before you finish asking the question. And so we applaud them for being so smart and don't know what to do with them after that. So the best strategy is to be on the ball and on top of things and have some tools in your back pocket to throw an extra challenge at them. Make them feel that healthy struggle that I was talking about a minute ago before they get older. Because if they never feel a challenge, and they never have to struggle until middle school or high school, or some kids not till college before they hit that wall, and at that point they're devastated. They feel like total failures. They just think they're stupid if they hit a wall at that age, and they've never had to face a challenge earlier than that. So huge suggestion would be start giving them challenges that they can't just do in their head, that they don't already know the answer to, that make them think critically from as early of an age as possible. And my last strategy is to remind them over and over and over again that failure is a good thing. Failure doesn't mean you're dumb. Failure means it's time to stop and say, well, what did I learn in this process? What worked? What went well? What didn't go well? How can I go back to the drawing board and try another one of those strategies that hopefully at the beginning, like we talked about, they've come up with multiple ideas for coming up with a solution. And if one of them doesn't work, go back to the drawing board and do it again. That's great. It's part of the learning process. It's how engineers think. It's how problem solvers think. So not seeing failure as something to be afraid of or something that makes you feel dumb. That's really important that we continue to drive that point home. Failure and healthy struggle can be really good things. So our kids can come running to us or running to a friend or running to Google, and at the click of a button, they have all their answers. We know this. But what we're doing by giving them all of those tools too fast, too early, is we're killing their critical thinking and problem solving. So what can we do about it? Let's recap. We can, first of all, make sure we tell them to try first before they go looking for help elsewhere. Show that tenacity, that stick-with-itness. The next challenge for us is to answer their questions with more questions. Lead them into figuring it out on their own rather than just spoon-feeding them every step of the way. The third one is to start challenging them from right now, today. Make it your mission to start challenging your kids. When things are easy is when it's time for us to make sure that they feel that healthy struggle. And the last one is to keep reminding them that failure is fine. It's a learning tool. It's a time to regroup, maybe collaborate, maybe ask for some feedback, but it's not a time to give up and just ask someone to do it for you. If you or anybody you know has kids that are in the 10 to 14 year age range, I also write problem-based curriculum. I write project-based curriculum for problem solving, for critical thinking, and I have it for sale in a link on my website down below, and also on a Teachers Pay Teachers link that you can find. If you're interested in that, hopefully that helps fill that need and helps you figure out how to challenge your kids to think this way. If not, and you just got some helpful tips in this video, that's fantastic. I hope you like and sub my channel and this video. And until next time, happy teaching, parents.